Hey Krishna everyone.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, प्रणाम माता जी।
प्रणाम माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत
हरे
प्रणाम।
कृष्ण
प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, प्रणाम माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।
धन्यवाद प्रणाम है कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, प्रणाम माता जी।
धन्यवाद प्रणाम है कृष्णा। So let's start. One second. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नष्टकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto chapter 24, we'll read verse 21 and 22. So I'll read verse 21 and you all can read 22. तद्भक्तानाम् आत्मवतं सर्वेषाम् आत्मनि आत्मदा आत् आत् आत्मतया आत्मतया इव. Translation by Shri Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart as a super soul, sells himself to his devotees, such as Narad Muni. In other words, the Lord gives pure love to such devotees and gives himself to those who love him purely. Great self-realized mystic yogis, such as the four Kumaras, also derive great transcendental bliss from realizing the super soul within themselves. Puppet by His Divine Grace Shripad ki jai. The Lord became Bali Maharaj's doorkeeper not because of his giving everything to the Lord, but because of his exalted position as the lover of the Lord. Okay, verse 22, you can raise your hands. Navai Bhagavan Nunam Amusha Anuja Griha Yad Uta Punar Atma Anusmriti Moshanam Maya Maya Bhogeshwaryam Evat Anuriti. Okay, Madhumay Krishna Kanta Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। न वै भगवान् नूनम् आमुष्य अनुजग्राह यदुता पुनः आत्मस्मृति मोषणं मायामया भोगैश्वर्यमेव आतनुता इति। थैंक यू माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. आप चित्र मोहिनी माता जी.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। न वै भगवान् नूनम् अमुष्य अनुजाग्राह यदुत पुनरात्मान अनुस्मृति मोशनम् मायामय भोगैश्वर्यम् एवातनुतेति। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। थैंक
Hare
यू
Krishna,
माता।
thank you. Revti Ratnangi माता जी.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, प्रणाम माता जी। ओम
Krishna.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नैवै भगवानुनान् अमुष्य यानिग्रह यत् उद पुनर् आत्मा आत्मानुस्मृति मोशन मायमया भोगैश्वर्यम् इवातनदेति। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Ramya Madhvi माता जी. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare
न
Krishna.
वै भगवान् नुमन् अनुष्यन् अनुजाग्रथा यद् उता पुनर् आत्मनुस्मृति मोशनं मायामय भोगैश्वर्यम् एवानुतेति। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Venkat Narasimha Prabhu ji, Hare Krishna. Venkat Narasimha Prabhu, Hare Krishna, please unmute yourself.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी। न वै भगवान् नूनमुष्य अनुजग्राह यदुत पुनरात्मानुस्मृति मोषणं मायामय भोगैश्वर्यमेव अतनुतयति। हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
Thank you. Pran Nandini Madhvi माता जी, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, प्रणाम माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। न वै भगवान्
नूनम् अमुष्य अनुजाग्रह यत् उत पुनः आत्म अनुस्मृतिः मोषणं मायः भोग ऐश्वर्यम् एव अतानुत इति। हरे कृष्ण माताजी। थैंक यू माताजी।
शुभ राव प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण माताजी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
प्रणाम।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। न वै भगवान् नूनममुष्यानुजग्राह यदुत पुनरात्मानुस्मृतिमोषणम् मायामय भोगैश्वर्यम् एवातनुतेति। हरे कृष्ण।
कृष्णा। अंजलि माता जी। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। न वै भगवान् नूनम् अमुष्य अनुजग्राह यत् उत पुनः आत्मा अनुस्मृतिमोषणम् मायामय भोग ऐश्वर्यम् एवा अतनुत एति। हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
हरे कृष्णा। प्रकाश राव प्रभु
हरे
जी। हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्णा।
माता दी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। ओम
प्रणाम।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। न वै भगवान् मौनम् अमुष्य अनुजग्रह यदुत पुरारात्मानो अनुस्मृति मोषणं मायामय भोगैश्वर्यम् एव अतनुतेति। हरे कृष्ण।
कृष्णा। उषा दयावती माता जी। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे हरे कृष्ण माता जी, प्रणाम माता जी। ओम नमो
धन्यवाद।
भगवते वासुदेवाय। न वै भगवान् नूनम् अमुष्यमन् अनुजग्रहाय यूत पुनः आत्म अनुस्मृति मोषणम् माया मया भोगैश्वर्यम् एव अतानुति इति। थैंक यू माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।
कृष्णा। मधुमती विलासनी माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। न वै भगवान् नूनम् अमुष्य अनुजग्राह यदुत पुनरात्मानुस्मृतिमोषणम् मायामय भोगैश्वर्यम् एवातनुतेति। थैंक यू माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।
कृष्णा। पुष्पा यशोमती माता जी।
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, प्रणाम माता जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। न वै भगवन्नूनाम् अमुष्य अनुग्रहाय उद पुनरात्मानुस्मृतिमोषणम् मायामय भोग ऐश्वर्यम् विवादनतेति। हरे कृष्ण माता जी। थैंक यू माता जी।
थैंक यू कृष्णा। Na, not why indeed Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Noonam, certainly, Amushya, unto Bali Maharaj, Anujagraha showed his favor, yet because, Ut, certainly, Punha again, Atma Anusmriti of remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Moshanam, which robes one, Maya Mai, an attribute of Maya, Bhogeshwaryam, the material opulence, Eva, certainly, Atanut extended iti does. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Shabbat ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead did not award his mercy to Bali Maharaj by giving him material happiness and opulence, for these make one forget loving service to the Lord. The result of material opulence is that one can no longer absorb his mind in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Puppet by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Shabbat ki Jai. There are two kinds of opulence. One which results from one's karma is material, whereas the other is spiritual. A surrendered soul who fully depends upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not want material opulence for sense gratification. Therefore, when a pure devotee is seen to possess exalted material opulence, it is not due to his karma, rather it is due to his bhakti. In other words, he is in that position because the Supreme Lord wants him to execute service to him very easily and opulently. The special mercy of the Lord for the neophyte devotee is that he becomes materially poor. This is the Lord's mercy, because if the neophyte devotee becomes materially opulent, he forgets the service of the Lord. However, if an advanced devotee is favored by the Lord with opulence, it is not material opulence but a spiritual opportunity. Material opulence offered to the demigods causes forgetfulness of the Lord, but opulence was given to Bali Maharaj for continuing service to the Lord. which was free from any touch of Maya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanjalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Sapadantikam. He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinbandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namastate. Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanuste Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shri Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pisthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamne. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shnevadi Paschatya Deshatarine. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart as a super soul, sells himself to his devotees such as Narad Muni. In other words, the Lord gives pure love to such devotees and gives himself to those who love him purely. Great self-realized mystic yogis, such as the four Kumaras, also derive great transcendental bliss from realizing the super soul within themselves. The Supreme Personality of Godhead did not award his mercy to Bali Maharaj by giving him material happiness and opulence, for these make one forget loving service to the Lord. The result of material opulence is that one can no longer absorb his mind in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, which is called as the Creative Impetus, chapter Krishna 24, which is called as what? Do you still remember?
Subterranean heavenly
The
planet.
subterranean heavenly planets.
The subterranean heavenly planets. And what planet are we talking about here?
Sutala.
Sutal. Who lives there?
Bali Maharaj.
Bali Maharaj lived there, right? And then there was a little bit of a description of how Bali Maharaj was shown exemplary mercy by Vaman Dev on account of his unhesitated surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He did not hesitate. He did not like put ifs and buts. If I do it, but I should not do it. There were no ifs and buts. He just gave it all. Whatever he could, he actually, Krishna gave him, right? Krishna gave him the intelligence. Nami buddhi yogam tam yen ma upayanti te. He actually gave him, he actually gave up the association or of his spiritual master also, which is actually not recommended. But he gave it up because of the higher purpose. He did not fear he did not fear the consequences of giving up the spiritual master. You see, there are consequences. He's Bali Maharaj, he knows the pastimes. So like Indra, when he disrespected Brihaspati, then he had to go through so much crisis. Then Indra was cursed by Brihaspati to become a hog, right? Then Indra was also cursed to get some skin disease, and then he took shelter under Ganges. I don't remember that pastime exactly. And he was hiding so that nobody can see because of disrespect to spiritual masters. The spiritual master, this is one of the offenses of the holy name, right? To disrespect the orders of the spiritual master is one of the offenses of the holy name. So if one offends the order of the spiritual master, does not follow the order of a spiritual master, it is actually a direct offense of the holy name, one of the 10 offenses we read. But Bali Maharaj did not hesitate. He did not fear even if Vaman Dev comes and takes everything, because he was very convinced about Vedeshcha Sarver Ahameva Vedya. Or what is that verse in 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam. So Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So if my yagya was actually to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because Krishna is the only enjoyer. Or the verdict of all the knowledge is to understand Krishna. So if Krishna has come directly at my doorstep, why will I hesitate? This is not so easy. It looks like he did it, but it is not easy, because we can look at our lives and see that how many times a day do we get this instruction from the super soul, and how many times a day do we not do the right thing. It's not easy. it looks very easy that Bali Maharaj just like gave up, but the push and pull of the three modes of material nature keeps us or keeps the conditioned soul very nicely here. It looks like there is a progress, but then there is a pull again. Okay, so if this was easy, then it will not make its entry in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so Sukadeva Goswami is reciting all these pastimes with the due diligence, with due thought. So, but the point here raised is that in this particular verse, that Krishna, do you know, is it the second chapter, the characteristics of pure devotional service in Nectar of Devotion? Is it the second chapter where Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, pure characteristics of pure devotional service? Here, first chapter. So, pure devotional service, there are 6 characteristics mentioned, right? But, and it is in the sequence, it's not like a haphazard arrangement. So, pure devotional service, okay, brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress, is the beginning of all auspiciousness, automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure, rarely achieved, is those in pure devotional service deride even the conception of liberation. Pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. So if we go on go on this, then this is actually the side effect. The pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress is a side effect. It is not the effect. Brings all auspiciousness is also a side effect. Like that, Rupa Goswami, if you read each subheading, goes on describing that which is actually the best of all these things. The best of all these things starts from here, is rarely achieved, does not even want liberation, and is the only means to attract Krishna. So pure devotional service is very rare. Why? Because Krishna sells himself to such a devotee. And Krishna is not going to, and Krishna is God. We must not forget, Krishna is not going to sell himself to anyone, just anyone and anywhere. Right? And think of it in our lives. Are we going to open up to anyone and at any time, wherever we're situated, or is this going to be a specific inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria for a person in our life?
Yes, surely there will be criteria
and exclusion criteria.
to
There's going to be a thought, right? That, okay, I'm going to open my heart to this person. So can I or can I not? So that all depends on what is our relationship dynamics and exchange, right? So we are not same to everybody that we meet. Some people can find us friendly. Some people can find us very irritating. Some people can find us like a teacher or a mentor. Some people can find us different relationship roles that we may be playing as like a nice person and living in a neighborhood or whatever. Some people can identify us by our profession. So we are not same to everybody we meet. Why? Because Krishna is the same. This is a perversion, na? So because Krishna is also like that. He's not same to everyone he meets. He is, because there is no duplicity in him. But why is he not equally available to everyone? Because we are not ready to receive him fully. He says, right, what does he say in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Ye yathamam prapadyante tam satheva bhajami ham. The one whoever renders me in whatever way, I am available to that person in that proportion. So if atheist is not worshipping Krishna, okay, Krishna is going to give that person intelligence to completely forget him, and then he'll just silently come as death and take everything away. Okay, so why is Krishna only available to a pure devotee 100% fully? Because he's going to sell himself completely to that particular devotee, and that is very, very rare. Now the question is that so rare that I cannot become like that? So if that was the case, then we wouldn't have access to all the access that we have. We wouldn't have access to the holy name. We wouldn't have access to the dham, the Goloka, the knowledge of the access to the Srimad Bhagavatam. or association of devotees or access to the parampara. So it's not true. So why is it mentioned in context of Bali Maharaj's pastime? Because Bali Maharaj is one of the Mahajans. There are 12 Mahajans, right? Bali Maharaj is one of the Mahajans who has reached the highest verdict or highest level of bhakti. But he has not reached the highest level of bhakti by studying, scrutinizingly the Shastras. Do we read that? No. Then what? He has reached the highest level of bhakti by applying the highest level of verdict of the Shastras, which is to give everything to Krishna. He gave everything he had, including his own body. So, which took Krishna, which won Krishna's heart. And now it says, okay, but Krishna actually gave him the kingdom, which was even more opulent than King Indra. We discussed that last time. Remember that Indra is the king of all the heavenly planets. And imagine how opulent he will be. Bali Maharaj is the king of just one planet, Sutal, but his kingdom is even bigger and more opulent than Indra's opulence. So is it like, but we study that Krishna, the devotees of Yudhishthira Maharaj asked this question, that Krishna, to Krishna himself, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked this question to Krishna himself, that why is it that the devotees of demigods like Lord Shiva are very rich, but your devotees are like paupers? So Krishna replies, right, that this is my special mercy, that if somebody wants to come to me, but at the same time has other attachments, I take away everything. So how come Bali Maharaj, yes, everything was taken away, but was also returned in an unproportionate manner, like a lot was returned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The understanding has to come from the acharyas. Like Prabhupada is explaining, there are two kinds of opulences. One is that one is just born with a silver spoon because of the karma from the past. But that is a risky situation because we are debiting the account very quickly. Okay, anytime these opulence may go anytime. But anyhow, whatever time period they have it for, they have it. And it is a gift from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So definitely there is some credit there. But we can see that a very, very exalted devotee is also very materially opulent. Automatically, that person becomes opulent. Automatically, why? Because Krishna knows that this particular person will use his or her opulence for my service. So unrestricted service. So Krishna maintains that. Okay, and because Krishna is maintaining that, it will never run out. It will never run out because everything is supposed to serve Krishna anyway. Okay, so what does it say? That advanced devotees favored by the Lord with opulence? It is not material opulence, but spiritual opportunity. Why is it a spiritual opportunity? Because Prabhupada is explaining that this particular devotee will execute his service very easily and opulently. We see that, like I said, once we were discussing, I think in Gita Nagari we were discussing, I'll go back to Jayapataka Maharaj, okay? So Jayapataka Maharaj is a very unique example. If you study his life, he was born in a very rich family in America. His family in America is still very rich. They own, like, I think it's a paint house, the paint shop in the houses.
I think Berger
And
Paints. No?
so
Berger
yeah,
Paints Company. Yeah.
okay, thank you. So the paint, and then so he was born with a silver spoon. So he was materially opulent. And American opulence on an average is not is at that time when he was born is a very it's very like it's like rare. It's not so common to be seen. But then when he came in touch with Srila Prabhupada, and then Srila Prabhupada gave him two instructions. One instruction was to acquire the citizenship of India. And second instruction was to make certain number of disciples across the world. He got two exclusive instructions from Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada personally approached Indian government to make his disciple an Indian citizen. And if you know that India does not allow dual citizenship, so to become Indian citizen, he had to give up his American citizenship. You cannot maintain two countries' citizenship if you want to be a citizen of India. So people want to become an American citizen, but he was born an American citizen. He gave it up. He gave it up just because Srila Prabhupada said, and he gave it up all the comforts. It's not easy. Just imagine. He gave up all the comforts. He gave up the citizenship. He acquired the citizenship of India, and he built the Mayapur. When Mayapur, if you go to Mayapur and you go near Prabhupada Samadhi, there is a hut. Okay, and that hut is from the initial time when the construction was going on. And Prabhupada told the disciples to keep the hut. Why? Because in future, he said, in future, when people will come to see the dham, then they will see that these people started from hut and now we have this whole opulence. So it was very difficult. It was not an easy thing. There was nothing. I know, I can imagine that because Gitanagri was like that. Gitanagri, there was nothing. Gitanagri, we didn't even have like proper road. Nothing. So it's very difficult, you know, to stay in such a place. And Mayapur had so many snakes that we hear about all the time. But Maharaj built, and he just incessantly worked. He never regretted that he came out all the way to a remote village in India who no one knew about on the order of his spiritual master, and became a sannyasi at a very young age and stayed like that. Everybody thought, most of the people and everybody in his family basically thought that this was a very insane decision. But he just did it alone many a times. The devotees were alone and they were attacked many times by the goons in Bengal because they were envious, right? But look at, and then Maharaj suffered stroke in sleep. So then there's so much of inspiration from his life that he gave up his family, he gave up his country, he gave up everything just to follow the order of one person, his spiritual master. And he did it through his life. And he did not even budge, even at the extreme of the health conditions. His health is very fragile. He had like stroke. So he had like, I think he had multiple strokes. He had a liver transplant. He had a kidney transplant. He has paraparesis. So it's not easy, you know, but he's in the topmost level of bhakti. So he gave up one family, and then so many people across the globe are like his family. Just gave up one family, one country, and then he look what Krishna gave him. So if there is ever a doubt that should I go ahead in bhakti, or because I'm going to leave the comfort of my house, I'm going to leave the association of my family, if something happens to me, then who will take care of me? My children, my wife, or my husband are going to be left behind. Then we have these examples to follow right now in front of us. So our determination has to be fanned at the right place. Okay, it cannot be that there will be no ifs and no buts in Krishna consciousness. No ifs, no buts. Only the order of the spiritual master and the determination. Then Krishna will show that, okay, now you have made some advancement. But if we go in ahead in Krishna consciousness, say, okay, Krishna, if okay, Krishna, one devotee said this, Krishna, okay, 10 for you, 90 for me, or maybe 20 for you, 80 for me. That's all I can do. Then Krishna will also do like that, because that's what we are ready for. Because pure devotional service is rare. He's not going to sell himself to us if we are still having these ifs and buts in our life. But there's no need to have some sort of a self-flagellation or self-criticism, but there is a very intense need to know where I stand in my Krishna consciousness, because that will keep us grounded. Okay, because it's a very common phenomena that when somebody comes new to Krishna consciousness and starts to change their lifestyle and change their habits and chant Hare Krishna, suddenly the whole world looks very hostile. Suddenly the people that were friends look very like enemy, like, oh my God, look at those people. Oh my God, look at me, I'm so good. And look at their habits. Oh my God, they're eating meat. Look at me, I'm eating this Mahaprasadam laddu. So you see, there is not much of a difference. It's like what is Raghunath Das Goswami say? Bathing in a donkey's urine. If that is the standard of our bhakti, that I am eating Mahaprasad laddu, but they are eating a meat, so I am a better devotee and they're not. It's better to eat meat. Because a Krishna conscious person will see that if my spiritual master is satisfied, what have I done today and every day of my life to satisfy the spiritual master? What have I done to satisfy to contribute a little bit, even one drop in the movement of Srila Prabhupada? What have I done? What have I done other than just following? You know, we have to keep moving. We just following. Okay, I follow 4 regular principles. Great. Okay, I chant 16 rounds minimum in 24 hours. Great. What else? What else is what Krishna asks for? What else can you do for me? I'm not saying it. Krishna is saying it. What else can you do? So you keep on doing little by little by little, and the intelligence will come. What else can we do depending on where our desire is? Okay, so that is why we see so many gradations of devotees, because the desire is different and Super Soul is working with that. Okay, Super Soul works. Okay, you can only do this much. Okay, you do like that. You do like that. So it is personal, but it is also collective in a way. That if we can assist each other in increasing, and we can encourage each other in increasing our surrender and services, but we can, but we have to act on it individually. Okay, we have to really, really pray and desire. So we can take mercy of Bali Maharaj, because he is one of the Mahajans, to give us the intelligence of eliminating all ifs and buts from our path in our journey back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime, no matter how much time is remaining in this life, in this body. I think I'll stop here. Any questions, reflections, realizations, or corrections?